So for those of you that don't know, this is Tux or TopHatTune. I got him from New Vocations last year around September, actually September the 4th to be exact. I couldn't do very much with Tux when I first got him because he ended up having really severe pediostitis. He was almost to the point where he was foundered. So after extensive rehab and good nutrition, he is finally, as of December, he is sound and good for me to start training. Unfortunately, we had a lot of wet weather the last couple months, so I'm just now getting to really starting his training. So today is the second day that I've pulled him out for groundwork, and we're just getting him used to this stick. I don't like my horses to be afraid of any of my tools. I want them to be very comfortable with anything that I might use. I don't like them to be driven by fear of anything. So right now I'm just getting him used to this stick, making sure there's no areas where he's really afraid of it. Just moving it around his head. He tends to be a little, doesn't really like things around his ears or the top of his head. So I'm just waving the stick around until he just relaxes. And so as soon as he does that, then I'll take the stick away. When we first came in the round pen, he was really spooked by the saddle that's in the center right there. I had to do a good bit of groundwork with him in the arena just to get him in the round pen. So here what I'm doing is what I call the sending exercise, and I'm just sending him back and forth between me and the saddle. So I'm yielding his hindquarters and then sending him back through. And basically what I'm looking for is just for him to just calmly go through this little gap that I've created. Horses are claustrophobic by nature, so they don't like to go between you and an object. So if you have a horse that doesn't like to get in the trailer or in the stall or wash rack or anything like that, this exercise is really great for simulating that. So that time he really went through softly, so I just go straight into lunging. And I just do this for a few minutes, which is actually a really big improvement since I got him. So I do just want to point out that a lot of people get into a hurry with trying to put these guys in side reins or expecting them to be perfect. But you have to remember that this is just the second day of me working on this. So for that, I mean, I think he's doing great. He's going when I ask him to. He still has a little bit of an attitude. He's kind of throwing his head and stuff. But, you know, it's just the second day. So I don't worry too much about any of that. Now, if he like pins his ears at me or something, then that's a different story. But, you know, he's stiff. He was a racehorse. You know, they don't expect them to be soft and, you know, all the stuff that we look for in a riding horse. So I just keep tipping his nose to the inside because I don't like them to stick their nose to the outside. It can get him in some bad habits. And then plus, you know, that's what we want when we're riding a horse. We don't want to make a right-hand turn and then their head is tipped to the left. So when I ask them to circle around me, I just like them to be a little bit bent to the inside. But anyway, so he's coming along, but he's not perfect right now. And hopefully, as I video our sessions, you're going to start seeing his head come down. He's going to start getting really relaxed when he gets more familiar with what I'm asking him. Right now, all I'm focused on is just forward motion. Like when I ask you to go forward and trot, I want you to stay at the trot. If I ask you to canter, I want you to canter, and I want you to stay into a canter until I ask you to do something else. So right now he is doing what he did the first time I lunged him, and if I ask him to canter, he doesn't want to, or he'll try to run sideways and get away from me. So just being in the round pen helps to solidify that when I ask you to do something, I don't want you to run and try to get away and bolt away from me. I just want you to do what I ask you to do. So anyway, he's coming along really good. So I'm asking him to go forward right now, and I gave him every opportunity to go, and he didn't listen, and so he got a smack. So it's important to remember that when you're asking horses to do something, he at this point understands exactly what I want him to do. And it's up to us to let them know what's right and what's wrong. They don't know what's right and wrong. They just know what they think they need to do. But at this point, he knows that when I point to the left, he's supposed to go to the left. So just like another horse would kick another horse if they didn't move out of their way, even though this stick is not nearly as strong as what another horse's hoof would be, still I have to use the stick to reinforce that, okay, I asked you to move and you need to move now. So here we're just doing some more desensitizing just to review and reinforce, that he doesn't need to be afraid of anything that I might have in my hands, or even just, it's building trust in anything that might happen. So this is just a building block. And you just have to take steps, with the basics, and then move up to, eventually when he's moving around in a circle, I'll start throwing things, throwing the rope at him, swinging the stick while he's moving and all that stuff. But this is just your starting point. And it's just teaching him that he can trust me. He doesn't need to be afraid of anything that moves or makes a noise.